Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we are going through some karambits, fixed blades, and folders that we have a whole bunch of to take a quick look at, starting off with this LIONSTEEL in MagnaCut steel. It is an Emerson design. It is made in Italy. Emerson is in the USA, but the knife is made in Italy. In, like I said, MagnaCut. Now we'll talk about that here in a second, but the handle is an integral. So it's an integral frame lock in aluminum though. Yes, aluminum. So we have a steel lock bar insert, and it has lots of forms of deployment. You have the flipper, which is removable, by the way. You can remove this if you don't want it to be a flipper at all, because the reverse flick action is actually really, really good. I got to give them credit for that reverse flicking action. The hole lands in a good place, and since it doesn't really have too far to open, it's pretty snappy. Now, you do have the wave feature where you can pull it out of your pocket. Now you'll see my clip, the way it's faced. I have it facing that way so that you can pull it out in the reverse grip. So you'd be able to pull it out and then spin it into action. Just to be honest, I am a lot more comfortable with it in the forward grip if I was going to use it in that type of situation. So I might just wind up switching the clip back. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I haven't been carrying it that much. Now, as far as the MagnaCut goes, I think it's softer. And I haven't sharpened it or anything, so I'm saying this purely off of hardly using it and the edge kind of going dull pretty quick. Now, I don't think this is one that it's going to be that big of a deal. And hear me out. I think we always should expect the best out of the heat treatments in HRC. But this is something you're going to be lightly using as an EDC, but mostly as a self-defense, right? So you're going to want to keep a nice, sharp, crispy edge on here, and there's no doubt that it wouldn't be able to handle whatever task it runs into, right? But it's not something you're going to be using as your work knife, your cardboard destroyer, or anything like that. Not that you couldn't, though. And it does have a nice recurved blade that's has very thick geometry, by the way. It is very stout, and the tip acts like a claw. It literally pulls things into it. Now, it is pretty comfortable without the ring. With the ring, obviously even more comfortable, but you're pretty far back from the edge, but that's going to give you a little bit more distance. Lock bar access is pretty good. It is riding on bearings, so it's very, very snappy. You can technically roll it over with the thumb or snap it open, but it's not really made to do that, but you can do it. Anyways, let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is just a crossbar lock, but I really like this knife. I think this, oh yeah, by the way, this is the Real Steel Huggin. It's in VG10 steel with a spear point blade. I think it's a very useful and attractive blade shape. The crossbar lock is done pretty well. Like, it sticks out very nicely. It's very grippy, very easy to close and open. It is on washers though. It does have the fuller here for the reverse flick, and it's very comfortable in the hand. The deep carry clip is not, it doesn't protrude so much that it annoys you in the hand. You don't even feel it. It just lands in a good spot. The thickness and the size and thickness and width of the handle, it's just very comfortable, nice jimping. It's a good slicer. Like I said, because of the blade shape and the neutral ergos, it's going to be good in just about all ways you can use it. And yeah, this was one that really impressed me from Real Steel this year, and one I personally, I don't know about my favorite, but it's one of my favorite Real Steels that came out. And yeah, I like it quite a bit. It's very smooth. Obviously being on washers, it does take a little bit of time to break in. VG10 steel is a little bit more of a simple steel, but it's still a good quality steel. It holds a decent edge. You can think of it as similar to OS 10, 10CR. Good stainless, and like I said, it takes a good edge. It doesn't hold an edge for a super long time, but it's easy to sharpen, and it's responsive to stropping. So you could strop it back a bunch of times before you'll need to resharpen it. But anyways, yeah, awesome knife right there. Now let's quickly go through some new karambits I have. So this is A new knife I just got, this first time showing it on this channel, aside from at Blade Show, from Tcal. So, this is a double-edged, and it's thick. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But this is a thick slab of steel, and it's USA made. You can see how thick that boy is. But it has somewhat of a Wharncliffe edge with a kind of a modified Wharncliffe, modified sheep's foot, whatever you want to call it. But it's sharp on the spine. So it actually has a real reverse tanto. So actually, you know what? I'm going to call it a reverse tanto. The first time ever I've gotten a real reverse tanto, because a tanto would be like this and it would be sharp here and here. So it's actually a reverse tanto. So that's very cool. So we have a reverse tanto karambit style knife. You have a little a spot right there for pressure points and hitting and stuff. The Kydex sheath works great. Tcal sheath work is really good. They're nice. They hold good. No rattle, no tap. And it's very comfortable in the hand. Now, you can use it in the reverse grip or the forward grip, whichever one suits your purposes the best. But this is a self-defense knife. Yes, you could use it for EDC work. Yeah, if you need to take it out and do, score something or open a box up, of course you can use it for that. But the geometry of this is not built for slicing. This is not built for camping. It's not built for, hunting. It's not built for anything other than self-defense. So the little bit of work you're going to do with it opening things up isn't going to hurt it, and just about anything can do that. But the geometry is meant to make wounds, and you can see it if you look at the geometry. It's like 60 thousandths behind the edge. I mean, very, very thick geometry. So that's going to, but it's still very sharp, and it has a very nice point to it. And you could technically lower back the angle a little bit if you wanted to increase the sharpness, but it's definitely going to have a lot of toughness. It's going to make big wound channels, and you can slash forwards or backwards and do a lot of poking. And with the poking, you can just see, man, this is going to open up a major, major wound. So that's kind of what's the beautiful thing about it. But like I said, you're not going to be wanting to slice or break down your cardboard with this, because it's just not built for it. Another one from Tcal. I've showed this on the channel a few times. I think it's the Night Stalker, but same thing. We do have a double-edged. This one has better geometry, though. So this one you could definitely use as a regular EDC knife. However, it is still a self-defense knife, but it is sharpened on the spine and the regular edge. Beautiful drop point or clip point blade, whatever you want to call it. It's almost more of a drop point, but micarta scales with the ring, again, with a nice little place for pressure points, and really good quality knife. Like I said, check out Tcal. I'll link them down in the description. Okay, really quick, I want to talk about a ROVY flashlight. I do have a bunch of ROVY. I do really like their flashlights. You can see right here, I have the A4 in titanium. These are small, compact, but extremely, extremely bright flashlights. And I have many more. These are just the ones I can quickly reach right next to me. But here's another one, and they have it to where you can set them up, and there's different modes and stuff. Now this one is the A2. I believe it is the A2. Yes, the A2, which is titanium, comes with a clip. I'll link everything I can down in the description. But these things are so bright. I think this one's 650 lumens, but when you look at how tiny it is, it's like, holy cow, how is that bright? Because it is just blindingly bright. Now, you don't have to have it on that set, but what's cool about it is that the battery lasts for a long time, especially if you don't have it in turbo mode, but it's such a compact light that actually acts like a big light. So they're relatively inexpensive. They do come in different versions, so more affordable options if you don't want the titanium one. I personally like the titanium ones, but yeah, they're just really good quality flashlights. I've always been impressed with every single ROVY I've gotten, so I do recommend them. And like I said, I will link them down in the description if you're looking for a super bright, compact EDC light that's reliable and rechargeable. Next, we have a CIVIVI. This is a new CIVIVI, and it's called the Midwatch. The Midwatch. And it's very well done. The sheath is good quality. It comes with a tech lock. So it's very easy to carry however you want to, and if you wanted to, you could take this off and put it on another knife or another Kydex sheath. Like I could take this off and put it on one of these if I wanted to, which I just might. But this one does not have any pressure points on the ring, and it is very narrow and thin. So while this is probably designed for self-defense, the one problem I have with it is that it is very thin. It feels like it'll spin in your hand. And it is in N690 steel. The N690 steel, quality steel, good steel. It is a budget steel. I think it is a little bit pricey for the steel choice, but it's not too big of a deal. We do have a clip point blade, so that is going to be a great blade shape for self-defense, but... And by the way, the geometry is amazing. Amazing geometry on this. Very slicey. So passing through materials is going to be really good. The problem is the handle's almost a little bit too narrow. I wish they would have gave you a little bit thicker scales, which would be a little bit more palm filling. However, though, maybe if you have smaller hands, this might just work perfectly for you. But in my hands, it's a little bit thin, a little bit narrow, but very, very, very slicey. And then we have the Real Steel Furrier Harpoon, and it comes with a leather sheath. As you can see, I think it comes in 2 different blade shapes. It comes in a couple different blade shapes. This one's a big belly harpoon, and yeah, it's small, it's compact. It's an N690 steel. Nice, beautiful swedge on the top. Very comfortable in the hand. Now, this one does give you a little bit more thickness and robustness in the hand with the micarta, so, it's decently palm filling. Now, my finger does not fit all the way through and through, so it's more made for the one knuck, because if I go all the way through, I'll get stuck. So I like to keep it on the, the forward part of my finger. And in that case, it's pretty cool. I would think that this is more of a hunting knife than anything. Yeah, you can obviously use it for self-defense and light duty EDC, but I think it would best be served as a hunting knife. Just the way the blade shape is, you have a lot of good belly there, and you can, do a lot of good skinning with it. And then the last one, we're going through these really quickly because we have a bunch of them, is this double, a double position fixed blade. It's not really a fixed blade because it does have, 2 different, ways you can hold it, and it does come with a Kydex sheath with the tech lock again, like we were talking about before, and it is double-edged all the way around. Very, very self-defense designed, and I have bent the tip on it because I was using it as a throwing knife, but it has held up very, very solidly. These are very aggressive serrations, and if you look, you can see how this tooth kind of hangs out to the side a little bit. It's very snaggy. Like when it grabs you, it's going to snag, grab, and pull you in. And it's designed to do that. So you can go, in both directions. You're going to be able to cut. It's going to stab really good. And like I said, double position. So if you wanted to use it as a punch tool, you could. And it does have a poker on the back, for pressure points and things like that, if that's your thing. I don't really think those work very well, but hey, what do I know? Anyways, let's get to some more folders. Next is the Kubi KU331, I think. Let me look at this. It is the 331. I knew it because I have another one of these, and it's a great knife. D2 steel. Does come in many different versions, though. I think they might even have better steel options, but they have many different options with the G10. This is the Digi Camo, and I gotta say, man, Kubi has knocked their detents out of the park. Like, this is such a good detent. I would expect this detent on a much, much more premium knife. You can get these for like $40. So that's an awesome, awesome value. Great access to lock bar. Very, very smooth on the ceramic cage bearings. Front flipper works great. You can do all the little tricks with it and stuff. And like I said, the detent is just so stout. It feels really good when you break the detent. It's very, very snappy. Now, the ergonomics are great. This little bend right here kind of goes right nestled up into your palm. Nice jimping. And it's palm filling, so you're going to have a lot of leverage with it. Now the blade shape is somewhat more of a drop point blade, so it should be pretty good for most tasks. Somewhat of a jack of all trades blade shape. Deep carry clip that is reversible, T8 hardware all the way around. I think it's a T10 pivot and then T8 hardware all the way around. But anyways, awesome knife. And yeah, I like a lot of Kubi's new knives are really, really good. And then the last one we're going to check out today is the BESTECH Reticulan. Now, the BESTECH Reticulan comes in S35VN, and it was designed by Elijah Isham, who has passed away, so, rest in peace to him. This is somewhat of an art knife that's also a capable EDC knife. The flipper tab has a ton of leverage. You see how much higher the flipper tab is than the center of the pivot, which makes this incredibly snappy. Not the most drop shutty, but not a big deal. It's still very smooth. And you can reverse flick it. You can thumb flick it. It has a titanium frame lock, titanium backspacer, and milled pocket clip. Good access to the lock bar. Now, not issue, but the one thing with it though is that when you hold it, you are very far away from the edge. So you kind of want to choke up. However, I think this knife is more designed for this grip. I think this is how I would primarily use it. I would hold it in a pinch grip and use these spots for my fingers to kind of go into sideways so I can open things up, do utility cuts, maybe break down some cardboard here and there. But it's, like I said, somewhat artistic and it's attractive. It's a good looking knife. And you don't see knives, every day that look just like this. And you can tell it's an Elijah Isham design because he did that with a lot of his knives. And yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's not going to be everybody's style. It's not going to be the most practical, but it does work good. And like I said, if your primary way of holding a knife is a pinch grip, then you might just love this because it does very, very well with the pinch grip. Like I said, I feel like it was almost designed to be in the pinch grip. But it is not cheap, though. It is a titanium frame lock, an S35VN, so the price is going to be a little bit up there. 3.25-inch blade, and yeah. So there you guys go. I will link everything I can down in the description for you guys. I love you guys. Peace.